Thanks, Andy. What a super afternoon we're making of it so far, despite the inclement weather. The reason for that little pause there was very sadly the Battlebrit Memorial flight had to cancel. That's mainly on the strength of the wind. Of course, if you look out there, it is still pretty flyable, but the conditions aren't easy, very, very bumpy. It's pretty uncomfortable on a ship, let alone in an aircraft. But nonetheless, that moment has arrived, and they always deliver, these guys. They are the national icons, of course. We all love them to bits, and they're doing a fantastic job. I'm just glancing outside. Yes, it looks as though we are pretty about ready to go. So I just want to check that we do have everybody here on time. So, Bournemouth, are you ready for the Red Arrows? Oh, that's great. What about Boscombe? Are you ready for the Red Arrows? Yes, well, there's not so many people down there, but they're waking up slowly. So in that case, let's find all about this amazing team. Please welcome Red 10.
Thank you, George. A very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm Squadron Leader Mike Ling. I'm Red 10. I'm the supervisor with the Royal Air Force aerobatic team, the Red Arrows. I'm going to talk you through this afternoon's display and get your eyes and cameras pointing in the right direction so we can make sure you enjoy every single minute of it. I'm just going to talk to Andy a little minute. We've got some guests with us here at the commentary point who are related to the Red Arrows.
Now, hi there, Lingy. Welcome back again for hopefully some good weather, fingers crossed. But we're joined here up in the commentary position by Dave and Carol Bent. Dave Bent here is the newly appointed Bournemouth Artist in Residence. And your first brush with aviation was as the Red Arrows Artist in Residence as well. So are you very chuffed to be here as the Bournemouth Artist in Residence?
I am. Thank you very much, Andy. It's not on? Yeah? Okay. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, you're loud and clear. Keep it nice and close.
Good. Hello, Bournemouth. Like the rest of Bournemouth, I'm very excited and looking forward to seeing the Red Arrows in a little moment in time. And I've got Andy Robbins to thank some years ago for inviting me up to Scampton and for collaborating with the Red Arrows as their artist in residence.
Well, it's very lovely to be associated with you as an artiste, and certainly you're back out in Cyprus with the wonderful light and the wonderful colours of the Red Arrows in their training base, but also you're here, hopefully weather willing, to get some lovely colours and the Bournemouth vibrant seaside conditions with the wonderful air displays here today.
Hopefully, and tomorrow you'll see me doing my painting outside of the Marriott Hotel by the West Cliff lift. If anyone wants to come along and talk to me and see me doing a painting of the Red Arrows flying over Bournemouth Pier, they're all very welcome.
And of course we can check out your art on the your Bent website, so just briefly last...
On my website is www.bentartgallery.co.uk, or you can follow me on Twitter at...
David Bent Studio.
Brilliant, that's fantastic, Dave. Well, thank you very much indeed for coming up and joining us up here. We look forward to some customers coming over to see you out at the Marriott. But Lingy, back to you for the Red Arrows.
Thanks, Andy. And I can confirm David's work is really good, ladies and gentlemen. Please do look at his website. Some fantastic artwork there. I've checked in with Red 1. They are airborne from the Bournemouth Airport. They're doing a quick fly past over in the New Forest before they come to start the display at 3 o'clock. Now, we have 3 types of display. I'm sure a lot of you are aware that we can fly depending on the weather. Our full display allows us to fly looping manoeuvres, but that needs a minimum cloud base of around 5,500 to 6,000 feet. Between 5,500 to 6,000 and 2,500, we can fly our rolling display, which allows us to fly our formation barrel rolls. But if the cloud base is less than 2,500 feet, then we are forced to fly our flat display. And that's a series of bends and reversals and fly paths in 9-ship formation before we then start the second half of the display. But I think, given the weather today, Red 1 will be leading a flat display. He'll run in and get a better idea of what the cloud base is doing from the air, and he'll come up with a decision just before they start the display. Now, our Hawk aircraft have to undergo a series of modifications from the standard Hawk training aircraft to become Red Arrows jets, specifically with the ability to produce smoke. And one of the jets in our fleet has not quite finished going through that modification process. And unfortunately, Red 1 will be flying that aircraft today, which will explain why you won't see any smoke coming out the back of Red 1's jet. And to cater for that, we've designed the display so that we can change our shapes to enable it all to look symmetrical. Red 1 will be flying that non-smoker, which incidentally was back in the 70s when they had the same situation. It was known as a tin ship. So Red 1 will be flying the tin ship today. And they're going to start the display in a shape called Pyramid, this big V shape with the jets around 20 feet apart. And they'll be flying at 400 miles an hour. Red 6 and 7 will be directly behind a Red 1 to cater for that tin ship situation. So we've got about a minute to go before the jets arrive. And I can tell by the radio calls the pilots are making, they are really looking forward to this display. There's lots and lots of people here. It's fabulous to be back in Bournemouth. We had a great display yesterday. We were very lucky with the weather yesterday afternoon. Not so lucky today. This nice breeze will make it nice and challenging for the pilots, but they're going to put on the best show they can possibly give. Now, boys and girls, I've been a Red Arrows display pilot myself. I do know that when they fly past, the pilots will be able to see you waving. So when I tell you, please, arms in the air, give the boys lots of waves so they can see you, and then I can transmit your claps and cheers if they're loud enough to the pilots so that they can hear, hopefully, how much you're enjoying the display this afternoon. Won't be long now, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready to watch the Red Arrows display? Excellent. Well, here we are then. Claps and cheers. It's the Royal Air Force aerobatic team, the Red Arrows.
Coming left. Now. Folding the bank. Now tight. Short diamond. Go. 6, 7.
The aircraft will now collapse to around 6 to 8 feet away from each other, as in this left-hand turn. Red 1 has called them into short diamond formation. Red 1 is squadron leader Jim Turner. It's his third and final year as the team's leader. He's a former Jaguar pilot. He's got lots of display experience, having displayed the Jaguar, spent 3 years previously with the Red Arrows, including leading the synchro pair. He's also spent 3 years as the official advisor to the Royal Saudi Air Force's display team.
4 and 5. Roll, go.
Now watch Reds 4 and 5 pitch up to roll back rapidly into a shape known as Apollo.
Aircraft, go. Coming left. Now. Folding the bank. Now tight. Ning. Eagle. Go. 2, 3.
The smoke comes on. You hear Reds 2 and 3 acknowledge the move to Eagle. They do so with very metronomic cadence in their voices. The idea being that on the count of 4 in their heads, the pilots extend their air brakes. And on the count of 6, they retract their air brakes, and that enables the 3 aircraft on each wing to drop back in unison to form the shape of Eagle. And they're going to reverse this now.
Coming right. Now.
Cameras ready. This is Eagle.
Folding the bank. Now tight. Ning. Tight. Ning. Motor. Go. Letting it out. Reversing. Left. Now.
It's a very special year for the Red Arrows. It is, in fact, our 50th display season. And in those 50 seasons, the team have performed in around 4,500 public displays in 56 countries. We're very proud and honoured to represent the very best of British, both at home and overseas. Well, back in 1964, when the team formed, the aircraft they used was the Folland Gnat, and that was the advanced jet trainer in the Royal Air Force in that era. But in 1976, the Hawker Siddeley Hawk entered service with the Royal Air Force, and in 1980, the Red Arrows started using the Hawk as their aerobatic aircraft. This week, in fact, has seen the Hawk celebrate the 40th anniversary of its first flight. So it's a very, very capable aeroplane. It's very reliable, and which is why we love to fly it. Now, a new shape in from the left. We call this one Flanker.
Coming left. Now. Folding the bank. Now tight. Ning. Motor. Go.
You're about to see a very wide shape form now. You'll see Reds 8 and 9 move to the outsides, and from Red 9's left wingtip through to Red 8's right wingtip, the formation will now measure 100 metres or 300 feet wide. So to enable them to stay as one as they manoeuvre around the sky, the outside pilots really have to anticipate their control inputs. They do so by using the cadence in Red 1's voice commands. But now we're going to have some red, white and blue, and hopefully a huge round of applause as we show you Phoenix.
Follow on. Go. Smoke off. Go. Coming. Left. Now. Holding the bank. Now tightening.
There's that cadence in Red One's voice that I was talking about. Well, on the leader's right wing is the first of our 2 first-year pilots for this year. He is Red 2, Flight Lieutenant Stu Campbell. Stu is a former Tucano instructor. You saw it display earlier, and he used to teach basic fast jet training. He also displayed the Tucano. Operationally, he flew the Tornado GR4. Front right, the smoke goes off. The boys have formed our trademark shape. They'll roll out towards us. Cameras ready for Diamond.
Coming. Right. Now. Holding the bank. Now tightening. Smoke off. Go.
We fly our formations with the odd-numbered pilots on the left-hand side. The even-numbered pilots fly on the right-hand side. In their 3-year tour with the team, the pilots generally start at the front, near the leader, and as their proficiency improves, they move further back. Well, on the leader's left wing now is the other of our first-year pilots. He's Red 3, Flight Lieutenant Joe Hurston. Joe is a former Hawk instructor and operationally flew the Tornado GR4. In fact, Joe is the only pilot on the team who has flown this version of Hawk, which we call the T-Mark 1. And also he's taught on the Royal Air Force's new advanced jet trainer, the Hawk T-Mark 2. Well, out to the left now, the smoke goes off. The boys have formed a very iconic shape. This is of the supersonic airliner, and they're now going to show you Concorde.
Smoke on. Go. Coming. Left. Now. Holding the bank. Now. Tightening. Smoke off. Go. Fred. Go. Hey. Hey.
Another formation change now. You'll see Reds 2, 3, 4 and 5 move forward onto Red 1's wing. And Reds 8 and 9 move forward onto Red 7's wing at the back of the stem, as we call it. And this shows us the feathered arrow. Now, back in the 60s, they decided that feathered arrow was a mouthful to say on the radio. So we call this formation Fred.
Tightening. Smoke on. Go. Setting it out. Rolling out. Smoke off. Go.
Well, that's the end of the first half of the Red Arrows display, ladies and gentlemen. So far, you've seen all 9 aircraft performing formation manoeuvres. We're now going to split down into sections of 2, 3, 4, 5 or 7 jets and show you some more dynamic manoeuvring. At the front of the formation are Reds 1 to 5. We call them Enid, after Enid Blyton's famous 5. And at the back, Reds 6, 7, 8 and 9, and they are known as Jippo. Jippo is the nickname of the gentleman who first led the back 4 when the Red Arrows started officially flying 9-ship displays in 1968. Well, that transitional shape to the front is known as Dagger, but now it's definitely time to get your cameras ready. They roll out to start the second half of the display with the detonator.
Smoke on. Go. Below recovery. Hey. Enid. Break. Break. Go.
Here go Enid. Now keep your eyes on Jippo underneath. With his smoke changing from red to white on the left-hand side is Red 6. He's the leader of the synchro pair, Flight Lieutenant James McMillan. It's James's 3rd and final year as a Red Arrow. He actually grew up in New Zealand, but he transferred to the Royal Air Force in 2002 and became a Hawk instructor and Harrier pilot. On the left, Red 8 is joined, Red 6 joined by Red 8. And on the right with the smoke on is Red 7, chased down by Red 9. These 4 aircraft now are closing at 850 miles an hour. Get your cameras ready. This is the amazing Jippo Pass. The Synchro pair leave their smoke on. They're turning away from us at 6G now, or 6 times the force of gravity. That means everything in their bodies is weighing 6 times more than normal. So these guys work hard to counter the G-forces as they roll out towards us to fly the Cyclone. Now look to your left to find the 5 headlights of Enid. The wings of Enid drop down to form an inverted V shape. Look right towards the pier. There's a lone jet. His smoke comes on. This is Red 9, who's now going to perform the Goose.
Coming. Now.
Climbing there with the red, white and blue stripe is Red 9, Flight Lieutenant Mike Child. It's Mike's 3rd and final year with the team. He is a former Hawk instructor and Hawk display pilot. Operationally, Mike flew the Typhoon. You saw it display just half an hour ago, the Royal Air Force's new multi-role combat aircraft. Look directly to the front. On comes the blue smoke of Red 6. Now 7 and 8 roll around them in the vortex. Up the middle of the vortex there with the white smoke is Red 8. He's Flight Lieutenant Martin Pert. It's Pert's 3rd year with the team. He's a former Hawk instructor, Hawk display pilot, and operationally Perty flew the Harrier GR9. Well, the Synchro pair are now perched at around 2,000 feet. They're going to descend to just 100 feet above the sea. They're going to perform the opposition barrel roll. The next call you'll hear from the pilots is threshold. That means they've reached their geographical point, which is their contract point to continue with the maneuver. Now you need to look over to the right where you'll see Enid are being joined by Reds 8 and 9. The white smoke comes on. Reds 1, 4 and 5 ease up very slightly in a shape called Big Battle. The coloured smoke comes on. Ready for the revolution.
Rolling now. Coming right.
Each of the pilots in the Revolution there performing what we call an aileron roll manoeuvre, which essentially is a full left-hand control column input, and that rolls the aircraft rapidly around its longitudinal axis. The key to the Revolution is getting all 7 jets doing it at the same time before they come into that right-hand turn to form Big Battle. Left and right again now for the Synchro pair. This time, Red 6 comes from our right, and Red 7 you can see now appearing from the left. They're closing at 800 miles an hour. They're going to cross 3 times in opposing 360-degree 6G turns. Get ready now for the carousel. Notice that in each of these 3 passes, the pilots are going to swap their smoke colour using the individual colour control buttons on the aircraft's control column. Now you need to look to your right, 45 degrees. The white smoke comes on. They're now forming line astern. Reds 1 to 5, stacked top to bottom.
Coming right now.
Watch them swing out like a pendulum now in a manoeuvre called the Helix. Now, the Red Arrows would like to say a big hello to Suzanne Duncan, who is 40 today. She is a friend of a family of our squadron commander, Wing Commander Neil Fraser. So, Suzanne, a very happy 40th birthday to you today. Out to the front now. Reds 4 and 5 are moving forward into a shape we call Leaders Benefit. And on the bottom of the formation is Red 4. He's Flight Lieutenant Ollie Parr. Ollie is a second-year pilot with the team, a former Tornado pilot and Hawk instructor. The shape is called Leaders Benefit because the pilots do not look at the jet next to them. They just trust that he'll be in the right place, and everyone looks at the leader's aircraft. Now look left, you'll find Jippo with the white smoke on. Red 6 and 7 now roll upside down. This is the corkscrew. Red 7 there working hard, flying his jet only 8 feet away from Red 6, but doing it while he's upside down. Now you need to look to your left to find Enid. The inside pilots perform tight match rolls to the outside of the formation in the rollbacks. Enid finished the rollbacks. Keep your eyes to the right-hand side as we look for Jippo.
Enid, smoke up, go, Jippo, smoke up, go, dip over. 6, rolling in.
Once again, Red 6 and 7 now roll upside down, and 8 and 9 match their formation underneath in the mirror pass. And let's give the pilots a big wave as they fly past upside down, boys and girls. Red 6 gives the command for the formation to widen into a 4-ship square card formation. Now look right 45 degrees. Reds 1 to 4 form a box formation. Now the 5th jet is rolling around them. He's going to roll around them a dozen times now.
Right, now.
This is the Twister.
Holding bank. Now tightening. LBT 64.
Getting very dizzy with the red smoke on is Red 5. He's Flight Lieutenant Steve Morris. Steve's a second-year pilot with the team. He's a former Hawk instructor, then operationally flew both the Harrier GR9 and the Tornado GR4 before donning his red suit for the first time last year. Now look directly to the front to find Jippo.
Jippo, smoke up, go. 8 and 9, all go.
Reds 8 and 9 roll around 6 and 7. Cameras ready now for the Jippo break.
pitches. Come, go.
With his smoke changing from blue to white on the right-hand side is Red 7. He's synchro number 2, Flight Lieutenant Mark Lawson. Mark's a second-year pilot with the team, and his background is solely on the Tornado GR4, where he spent 3 tours. He flew over Iraq, Afghanistan and Libya and became a qualified weapons instructor. Well, the synchro pair are now descending for their final manoeuvre of the display. These are the double rolls. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the fabulous synchro pair. Now look directly to the front. You'll see Enid are being joined by Reds 8 and 9 for the display's finale. They are in a 7-ship Vixen formation, and this is the Vixen break. With the Royal Air Force aerobatic team, the Red Arrows. Red 2's put his smoke on now. They're going to gather all 9 aircraft together, and then they're going to recover to Bournemouth Airport, where our team of engineers are going to service the aircraft, ready for our next display this evening over at the Dartmouth Regatta. But before they do that, Red 1 is going to give us one last fly pass as they head back to the airport. So they'll be coming in from our right-hand side in just a few minutes' time. I've been asked to say another hello today, and that's to John and Maureen Davies. It's their 50th wedding anniversary today, so a very, very happy anniversary to John and Maureen. So Red 1's going to give us a Diamond fly pass. That'll be coming in from the Sandbanks area in just a couple of minutes. They're going to be in Diamond with some red, white and blue, and that'll give you the opportunity to get some fantastic photographs. Now, what I'd like everybody here by the commentary box to do is when the coloured smoke comes on, everyone on the beach can do it as well. I might be able to hear you. I want the biggest clap and cheer you can give me. Everyone on the beach, let's just raise the roof. We'll make sure that the pilots can hear you, because I'm going to raise my radio in my left hand. I'll press the transmit button, and then the pilots can hear how much, hopefully, you enjoyed the display. But that needs to be asked then. Did everybody here at Bournemouth enjoy the Red Arrows display? Sounds like it. This is a radio from, I think, the First World War, so it's not very good. You need to be a lot louder than that, and then the pilots will definitely hear you. You can see them forming up now. It's an honour for us to be back here at the Bournemouth Air Festival. We've got all 4 days here for the first time, which is a fantastic experience. We've loved the support we receive. In fact, all of the military receive from the people of Bournemouth and the visitors that attend the Bournemouth Air Festival. It wouldn't be made possible without the sponsors. So I would like to thank, on behalf of the Red Arrows, the Air Festival partners, Michelle and Morgan Tyndall. Thank you for your support, and thank you for making it possible for us to display here today. So look towards Sandbanks. You can see the team are in Diamond. They're going to roll out towards us. You'll see those 9 headlights coming in. The white smoke will come on, and then the red, white and blue. And that's your cue, everybody on the beach and here up by the commentary box on the East Cliff, to give us that big cheer.
Just a second. Red, white on, go. Fly past colours.
Here we go. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the eagle-eyed amongst you might have noticed that the jets we are using do have a special tail fin this year. That's a special design to commemorate our 50th display season. If you'd like to buy a 50th display season print, that is a hand-drawn side profile of our Red Arrows aircraft with that special tail design on. Those prints are available from the Red Arrows tent, which is in the Royal Air Force Village down by the pier. You can meet our team of blues there. They have those prints. They're available to buy for £10. They've been hand-signed by all of the Red Arrows pilots, and they're in support of the Royal Air Forces Association. So please make your way down to the Red Arrows tent, meet our support staff, and then you can buy one of those prints to support the Royal Air Forces Association. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go to Bournemouth, to Dartmouth now myself, and supervise the display down there. So in a few minutes' time, you'll see a black and yellow Squirrel helicopter land on the beach by the Royal Marines area. That is a helicopter from the Defence Helicopter Flying School at Royal Air Force Shawbury, where all 3 services train their helicopter pilots. They support the Red Arrows by taking me from venue to venue. So that'll be landing on the beach in just a few minutes' time. Please give me a wave as I depart to go to Dartmouth. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I hope some of you will be here again tomorrow. Let's hope the weather does improve and we can get a rolling or full display. Thank you for watching and for listening. I wish you all the very best on behalf of the Red Arrows. Take care, everybody.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Big cheer for Squadron Leader Mike Ling there. Does a fantastic job running around the country, dodging and weaving. He has to catch up with the team everywhere he goes. And he's going to hop in a helicopter shortly and zoom off down to Dartmouth for the next display. So he leads quite an interesting life altogether. And, well, we're just going to pause for a couple of minutes. We're going to reset the genre back into the rotary world in a moment or two. But, Andy, tell me, if you wanted to get a video of this, how would you go about it?
Well, ladies and gents, as luck would have it, there is an official Bournemouth DVD. It's available after the final display. The Plains TV is doing some of the recording today's air show, and you can advance order the DVD or the Blu-ray today, if you, or even indeed take away a free DVD. DVD does cost, however, £16.99 plus P&P. You can place your order and collect your free DVD at either Plains TV trade stall on the Overcliff trade site. Look for the big black DVD flag. You can also pick up an order form at any of the big TV screens. So, ladies and gentlemen, an official Bournemouth DVD is available. Please follow the signs, go onto the Plains TV website and or catch them at the Overcliff trade site, or look for the sign-up forms at the big TV screens.
Brilliant, thanks for that, and we'll give you regular updates. Now, if you've just joined us, or perhaps you just arrived just in time to see the Red Arrows, the rest of the programme pretty much runs to the order which should be reflected in your programme. If you haven't picked one up yet, please do so. They're only £6, and £1 of that money is going to go directly to the Bournemouth Air Festival charities. So we've got a Chinook coming up in a moment. More about that in a couple of minutes' time. Then following that, we're going to go into the vintage jet world, and the ever